Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brett Tippy podcast. I'm Brett Tippy, and I'm here with the one and only Yoann Barelli from France, now living here in BC, and longtime racer, downhill, EWS, some Enduro, some mega avalanches, and now free riding up a storm. And and the man with three balls?
With three balls.
How are you, first of all, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good, and I'm. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, good to have you here.
I'm pumped.
Are you the man with three balls?
I am. There might be a little lie with the three balls.
Oh, more or less what?
There's five.
Oh God.
No, there's two. It's actually 2.5, but three sounds better.
2.5.
2.5. It's kind of almost three. I could actually have a little surgery and do three. When I was 14, I was racing downhill, and I cased a jump, and my balls got stuck in between my tire and my seat. You know that sometimes it happens.
Oh yeah.
And I basically sliced a ball in half. So I was bleeding everywhere. I had to go to the clinic. They checked my balls. I was a little kid, teenager. I'm gonna have to show my.
No way.
And then yeah, they are kind of the one. So it's the right one. It's like a figure eight.
How do you know it's the right one?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, so yeah.
Wow.
So,
I think I've said this before on the show, but if you lose your left ball, is your right ball still your right ball? It's your ball left.
It's your ball left. Totally.
I said that at Rampage. I cased a big step down and bent my seat, and people were like, "Whoa!" And then I said that, and everybody laughed, and then I continued my run. Amazing! Wow.
It's something we never really think about, like to protect our balls when we ride.
I wore a baseball plastic cup at Rampage.
Oh, okay.
And I dented it.
Okay, wow.
And yeah, it's like a hard nylon plastic, and I dented it. I think I would have chopped things off, or maybe split a ball. Maybe I'd have three balls now too.
We would have been brothers.
Balls brothers. Oh my God. That's messed up.
Anyways, no more balls talk.
Yeah, totally.
But people always talk about my balls, so there you go.
Yeah.
Little ball talk.
Did you hear about the guy in the hospital with the oxygen mask? He said to the nurse through the oxygen mask, he mumbled, "Can you check to see if my testicles are black?" And she goes, "Sir, I'm just here to give you a sponge bath on your feet." And he goes, "I said, will you check to see if my testicles are black?" And she goes, "Fine, okay." He lifts up his gown, moves everything over, inspects his testicles, north, east, west, south, puts everything back. She goes, "No, everything appears fine, sir." And he goes, oh, and he takes off the mask. He goes, "Thank you for that. But I asked, are my test results back?" Wow. Well, this is the craziest start to a Brett TV podcast yet. I love it. So let's talk about your past. I know that you're from the south of France.
Yes.
And you grew up very close to Nicolas Veuillot and Fabien Barel.
Yeah.
Two, multi-time world champions on the same street.
Same street.
Oh, wow. And you obviously, as a little kid, knew who they were. They were legends, racing legends.
Yeah.
And
so that's basically
where in France?
In Paye, south. So it's just north of Nice, like an hour from Nice. Not even
hot down there.
Hot, not a lot of winter, like pretty, like a lot of sun, not a lot of rain. And a big difference with BC.
Yeah.
A big contrast.
For sure.
And so I remember I was 7 when I was with my brother, and we were kind of playing outside, and there was a race, a cross-country race, who came passed in front of our place, and Nico Vouillot raced it and won. And we looked at each other, my brother, and we're like, "Oh, this is cool. We want to do that." And so we registered for a cross-country race. And it was my first race for me, first race for my brother, and first race for Fabien Barel as well. And both my brother and Fabien won hand in hand. And they were maybe 11.
Cross-country race.
Cross-country race. So when we were a kid in the south of France, or in France, we would have these races and we would do like trials downhill, cross country, and navigating the same day. So it would be like kind of a, how do you say that? Like a gymkhana, like a kind of, you do a bunch of different things. And so you learn how
multidiscipline.
Multidiscipline kind of stuff. And so that's where everything started.
Wow.
Yeah.
I read somewhere that you had a brother that was like XC junior world champion.
Yeah. So Nicolas Philippi is my half brother. We have the same mom. And the junior world champion in 1999 in Sweden, in Norway. And multi-time like French champion in elite and everything. And then he decided to stop because he was at a point in his career where there was a bit of doping and stuff like that, and he was like, you know what, I don't want to go there, and he decided to stop. He became a trainer, and he's pumped.
Wow.
And now his son Noah is racing cross country and downhill, and he's kicking ass. He's 12 now, and he's so good at it. It's pretty cool.
Well, the dad is a trainer and a former world champion. He knows what works, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So did you ride with him back then?
Yeah, so we grew up same street with Nico Vuyos, Fabien Barel, and we used to ride all the time together. And so this little village is like 3,000 people in that tiny little village. And so Nico, Fabien, and my brother kind of created like some sort of a synergy with mountain biking. And I remember when we went to high school, we were probably like 40 kids from the same village going to races together and doing a bunch of like biking, building jumps and stuff. It was so good. Like basically I grew up biking with my buddies, finishing school, going in the forest, building jumps, digging. And sometimes we would have Fabien Barel, and he would show up and he would be like, hey guys, can you build a jump from here to here? And it would be like way too big for us. And basically he would make us build jump for him.
No way, really? Child labor. Really?
Yeah, Fabien is a funny guy.
Very technical, very
Totally.
introspective, and very scientific with his training and his setup and whatnot. Well,
Totally.
as Nico too, obviously. Yeah.
Nico was actually way ahead of the game with like bike setting and telemetry. Like early 2000, he already had like all the telemetry system on his bikes and everything, and it was pretty insane. Like we would have like that famous downhill track in Pay in the south of France, and like early 2000, you will see like big trucks coming just specifically for Nico Vuyos, like setting up his bikes and everything, and you would like Formula One, like
hardcore testing.
Hardcore testing, yeah.
He was doing interesting stuff, like working on different flexes of bikes, like side flexes, and
totally.
then different spoke tensions.
Different spoke tensions, like tire pro different carcass on tires and everything, which no one else would do that at the time.
No,
and that's why he was winning by 10-15 seconds sometimes.
Because everyone was trying to get things stiffer, but he was like going to the stiff point and then working back.
Exactly.
So the deflection was absorbed and could keep on his line.
Yeah.
And then I saw that he would have people timing other people in practice and seeing what the fastest lines were. And if they were faster than his line, he would adopt those lines and piece it section by section all the way down, and then have like the overall fastest run. Yeah, and then have to ride it too, obviously.
Totally. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what a bunch of mentors and examples to have around you as a young man.
Totally. Yeah, I think he was pretty cool. Yeah, it was he was definitely what brought me into downhill at the beginning, to see them racing and stuff. And I was a bit lazy as well. I didn't want to do cross country.
I get it.
Kind of sucks to climb.
To pedal. I ride an e-bike less these days myself. And shuttle. I'm always shuttled, and chairlifts are awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started racing downhill. Was your first, you tried cross country, but then your first real love, and when you started, doing well, was downhill. I saw your name on some results, and you had some top 20s in World Cup.
I'd say like in between 2004 and 2006-7, like I was like a consistent kind of top 20 in World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was it's funny. So I was going at school at this time. I was like in 18, 20, and there was no money like in this time in 2005. There was no money into biking. So I would be like top 20 World Cup, but I wouldn't have any support.
No
Like
sponsors.
but like, you know, free bikes and
Or
stuff like that, but
financial
no
support.
no financial support at all. And there was no social media at the time. There was no, so the only way you could get money with biking was with results, basically. And you guys was, I think for you guys here in North America was a bit different, because there was all like the freeride movement and videos and stuff like that. But in Europe, we didn't have that. It was all about racing. So if you were top 5, you could make some money. But if you were outside of the top 5, there was no support for you.
And you're only a few seconds off when you're
And
like,
you were just a few seconds off. Yeah.
yeah, fast, but
yeah,
you know,
but not enough. and you will see the difference in between like almost a privateer guy that's just trying to make it happen, and you know, hiring a mechanic here and there, and then the full support factory teams, and that will make basically the big difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're hitting, you know, the World Cups that were in Europe because they're close. You were not going overseas and hitting.
I was not going overseas at all.
Hitting any of those. You had to hit the ones that were, you know, in driving range.
Driving, sometimes going to Fort Williams. That was a good one.
Sleeping in your car,
Sleeping in the car, getting eaten by the mosquitoes.
Yeah,
they are nasty over there.
yeah.
But no, it was full of good memories. It was perfect. And at some point, I was done with the stuff that I was doing at school, at university. I was done with racing. I was kind of doing the same thing all over for basically not a lot of result at the end. You know, not a lot of support and stuff. And at some point, I was like, you know what, I need a break. And I think that if I want to make a career out of that, I need to learn English as well, because that's something that's like in France. The school system to learn English is not, I don't think it's really good. We write English, so we learn the grammar and everything, but we actually don't speak. And when you go travel, you need to speak. You don't write. I'm not writing you stuff. So basically, we end up not really, French people are not really good at English. Like, it's kind of a thing. And it's always a struggle when you enter like a pro team or something like that. You can like, how do I do? Like, how do you explain like bike setups and everything? It's so hard.
How do you order toilet paper at the store?
Exactly. So I was like, okay, I need to learn English. So I went to Australia, and no biking, no nothing, just to kind of discover a little bit myself, to party, be on my own, no parents around, and I partied a shit ton.
I bet. Well, after being focused for so long and racing, you kind of unleash after a while.
Totally. So it was a really, really good break for me.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, I tried. So I left in 2007, middle of the season in 2007. I dropped everything, and it was midsummer, and went to Australia. Stayed a year and a half, came back to France in early 2010, and or end of 2009, and that was it. I came back to racing downhill. I worked in a bike shop, and during that time, this year and a half, the level went so high, and I couldn't even quali anymore. I couldn't pass the quali in World
And it was
Cup.
top 80 back then.
It was top 80. And it was such a struggle. It was insane how like quickly the pace kind of went up, and that was like when Samil was dominating everything. Like I think he created something when he started to win by like 10-15 seconds.
Lots.
And I think he pushed people to kind of get their act together and be like, okay, we need to go faster, yeah. But then everybody went faster. So you're like, holy shit.
Yeah. What do you do, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So
I read somewhere that your favorite track was Val di Sole.
Val di Sole, actually, I think in 2012, it's probably the only World Cup that I qualified, and I did a top 30 as almost a privateer, like a privateer.
What bike were you on back then?
Lapierre.
Okay.
Lapierre bike, the one with the weird swing arm.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
That was yeah.
And were you using speed suits back then?
I was using what?
Speed suits like.
Oh no! That was done. I think, like early, like 2005 and stuff. For the World Champs, they will Like it would be that thing. We would have to wear the the skin suit and
Yeah.
no visor.
Favorite bro.
It was so disgusting. We looked like bobsleigh guys.
Yeah.
And then we started to kind of to be a little bit rebels about it and be like, you know what, I'm gonna put my visor. I'm not gonna look like a goon.
Yeah.
And then I think in 2005, I think it was in Livigno, and I decided to wear like a proper jersey and shorts. And I remember Fabian was kind of pissed off about all like younger guys like me, and we didn't want to have the skin suit. And I think that's actually when I did my best result in world. I think I got 16 at these World Champs. That was my best ever result in World Cup or World Champs. With a baggy.
Yeah, exactly.
Shorts.
And he's all like, fashion before function, eh?
But that was the way it was back in the days.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Well, if everyone else is doing it, it's tough to add a second
exactly.
or two with
Yeah.
the flapping, right?
Yeah. And then they made a rule. I think the UCI actually made a rule that we had to race with proper clothing.
Yeah. Well, I heard all the World Cup guys made a deal first that they would do it.
That thing, yes.
And then Fabian had no visor, and then he won
Yeah.
the World Championship. Well, he won a couple times,
Yeah.
but there was kind of a bit of politics going on there.
That's funny.
Well, so did you go through your World Cup career pretty injury free? Like obviously you have some pedal bites and all that, but did you have any gnarly crashes that? Lots of
Gnarly, of course, like everybody has, but I never had any bad injuries. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
My only injuries was my knee in 2019.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I never actually broke a bone on my body.
Yeah. Me too.
You too?
Yeah.
No way.
I cracked a rib.
That's it, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I broken toes, I guess that
Yeah.
counts. But I had to call a tow truck.
You never broke a bone, eh?
No, I've been pretty lucky, pretty
Wow.
flexible, and stretch a lot.
Like even with the shit that you sent, you.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, just like.
Are you the only one?
Richie
like
thought I was
a free rider to be.
Well, I don't know, but I know that Richie hated me because he thought I was an alien, and I would ragdoll, and I've fallen off 40-foot cliffs, and I've crashed, on my snowboard at 100 k's, and yeah, I've been really lucky.
Wow.
And structurally pretty good. So
talking about big crashes, did you see G Atherton's?
Oh, that is so disgusting on the knife edge.
Fuck.
Yeah, just nasty.
Like
I saw it once, like when they posted it the first time, and then to watch it again.
Yeah,
with
but they
different
didn't.
footage.
They didn't actually post the first time. They didn't post They just posted the beginning of the crash.
Yeah.
But they didn't post after, like when he bounced for the second time.
Yeah.
Holy
and
shit!
just kept ragdoll. He looked literally like a ragdoll.
Yeah.
That guy's so gnarly. He's had some big crashes.
He's G's a gnarly guy.
The one on the
so
snow,
I was
the
racing
one in
with
Rampage.
G. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I was racing with G. We are the same age. And
Dan as well. He was racing back then.
Dan, I think, is a year or two older than us. Is he older or younger? I think he's older.
I think he's older. Yeah.
Yeah, but we racing with Dan as well. But G was always you will show up to a race and you will see G, like he would do a track walk shirtless and everything, and he would be ripped and you would be like, holy fuck, how does this guy
how can you beat this guy?
how does this 17-year-old guy is like ripped like that? You're like, holy shit.
Yeah. He's so ripped he needs some tape. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Machine.
Yeah.
So when you finished downhill and you did your walkabout in Australia, you came back to biking, and you were doing like mega avalanches and stuff like that. And so still wanted to race, but you're done with downhill. You've been there, done that, and then you have some pretty good fitness and some pretty good riding skills. So you did well in mega avalanches.
Yeah.
And then you decided to do some enduros, which was like a new blossoming thing.
Yeah.
Tell us about that transition.
So enduro, we actually had a bunch of enduro races in France, starting in like early 2000. Like we already had like this kind of format, like we called it rally. So we would basically climb up and then have one stage, and it would be like it's basically the same format as the EWS. And we so we will do a few like here and there. And Maxi Avalanche, Mega Avalanche started pretty early, like in 1995 maybe even. So it was always around, you know, like in the Enduro kind of stuff.
But it was like a one-off.
It was a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that, and I really liked it. And I liked the fact that you could actually spend a lot of time on your bike.
Yeah.
And in downhill, there's a lot of waiting. You cannot just wait. It's the waiting game. It's like hurry up and wait, and it's kind of so you end up not doing a lot of biking when you race downhill in the weekend. You don't ride a lot. And I kind of like the idea of, you know, like pedaling and spending my time on my bike and being with my buddies and stuff like that. So Maxi Avalanche, Mega Avalanche was really was a cool format because you would ride a lot, do a lot of practice and being with your friends, and the vibe was cool. And in 2002, at the end of 2012, I was about, you know, to do my resume again and try to find some sponsor for downhill. And I was like, fuck, you know what? Why not trying, you know, to go a little bit on the Enduro kind of direction? So I made a few phone calls, and I contacted Giant France at the time. And the marketing manager, what's his name? Fabrice Logier. He was totally on board. He was like, yeah, I can give you a bike, and I give you 2,000 euros as a budget to
Woohoo!
to go race. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And as I signed the contract, and as I'm basically signing the contract, the week after, they launched the EWS. It was the first time that the EWS started. And I was like, holy shit, that's actually the...
And then a Frenchman was dominating. Jerome Clements was dominating back then.
Clements, yeah.
So that's got to give you motivation too.
And everybody went. Like Fabien Barel went into the EWS, Jerome Clements, Remy Absalon. Like everybody went in that direction. And and I remember showing up at the first EWS in Italy, in, where was it? Punta Ala. And as I'm showing, nobody knew what we were going to expect. You know, is there going to be any teams? You know, like what
do we get
what
to
is
practice?
Do we get to
what do
we knew a little bit the schedule, but like what is the scene gonna be? Who is gonna do these races?
Okay.
And so as we are showing up, then there is Dan Atherton, there is Martin Maes. He was a kid at the time.
René Wildhaber.
There is René Wildhaber. There is Fabien Barrel. There is Nico Vouillot. There is all these guys, all these top guys. What's his name? The American guy. He used to race Ford Cross.
Richie Root?
No.
Before Richie Root.
Older guy.
Oh. He used to race four cross.
Dual slalom Ford Cross, like really, really fast.
Oh. Eric Carter? No.
No, the other one. I don't remember. He's gonna watch the process. He's gonna be, what the fuck, Barelli? You don't remember me. Anyways, we don't care. All these guys were over there, and big support, like big trucks, big everything. So quite a bit of money into EWS.
Curtis Keene.
No, but Curtis Keene was there.
Yeah.
Giant Graves.
Yeah.
All these guys. And then I saw the giant factory of our team. Like good truck, team support, mechanic, everything. I was like, wow, this is cool.
The white and blue uniforms.
The white and blue uniform, and I was Giant France, like doing my own thing with my 2,000 euro.
Was that a Rain you were on already?
It was a Rain. It was the Rain X,
yes.
with 26-inch wheels at the time, and it was. So I saw the team, and I made a promise to myself. I was like, this year, the goal is to beat the Giant Factory riders, to be in front of them. And at the end of the season, I'm signing a contract with this team. And so the season goes, and I'm like top 20, top 15 sometimes, like around that. And at first, I didn't have any commitment to do the full season. I wanted to try it and see. And then as the season is going, like I'm kind of going up in the ranking, like kind of like top 15, like top 12. And mid-season, I'm starting to contact a little bit the team manager, Joe Stubb, at the time. And we're starting to talk and blah, blah, and with my broken English. Because my English was shit at the time. And it's still shit, but no, it's okay now. And he's like, you know what, Yoann, we are not really looking for another rider. But you have a good profile, but it would really help me if you get into the top 10 this season once. And the next race I got 9th.
Nice.
So I went to see him again after the race. Hey. And in Finale de Gur for the last race, I signed my first ever professional mountain biker contract.
Nice. To go international, race international.
To go for the full season the year after.
Full ride.
Full riding, salary and everything. It was not like a huge salary, but it was way enough to basically support everything and stop working in the bike shop and focus on training and go full gas with it.
And go take on all the international crew.
And
like American Brian Lopes. Was it Brian Lopes?
Brian Lopes.
There we go. Can't forget Brian Lopes.
It was Brian Lopes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like big shift, like suddenly like big support and team camps in California and all this kind of stuff and traveling with the team and everything.
More support than ever in downhill for you.
More support, way more. Like
yeah,
the
real deal.
The Giant Factory Off-Road team was basically some sort of a blessing for me because it gave me all the tools that I needed to really like boost my career, like improve my riding and really create what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So what was your best result in EWS?
Twice second.
Was that in
Whistler?
Here in Whistler?
Yeah, in 2015.
And who got you, Jared?
Jared
Graves.
Yeah. No.
Wasn't Gravy?
Was it Richie or... I think it was Richie.
They both had some wins here.
I think it was... No, it was Richie because the race after was in Spain and I got second again and it was Richie in the front again.
Yeah.
That's when he was like really dominating as well.
Yeah. I remember interviewing you at the finish line at
oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And you were just gasping, trying to breathe. And
yeah.
I had an interview, but I was trying to let you wait and breathe, and so I was killing time. And then I interviewed you, and you're like, "Oh, that was really." Try not to swear. Hard.
But it was so good. Like it was like passing this step because when I signed and I started to race EWS and everything with the Giant Factory Off-Road team, like my results started to kind of improve.
Yeah.
And I think the first year with them I got 2 top 5, and then the second year with them I got 2 second place, and that's when basically that year the season wasn't starting really well. Like I was like top 15 and I was really kind of struggling to find the pace. And at some point, I was like, you know what? I think I need to change my strategy. And Joe Stubb, the team manager, was so good with like the mental aspect of it, like how to prepare a race like mentally as well. And he was like, just have fun, Yoann. Just be like more natural. Don't do like track walk and all this kind of stuff, and just go with the flow, be more natural, and ride with your instinct. And that's when everything clicked. Like I started suddenly to ride way faster, and that's the first time that I put my brake levers flat was in Whistler, and that's when I got second as well.
Really?
Because I needed to adjust the seat for the third ball.
Yeah.
And then and it worked. But it's true. Actually, that's
special seat.
All the time.
Oh my God.
All that time I was riding with my third ball getting stuck in my seat, and then
So, the final stage typically is top of the world down, which is,
20 minutes.
So hard.
It's another race within the race.
Yeah.
Top of the world. When you have top of the world in EWS, it's
yeah. And to put your levers up, when you're in the back, you don't have to reach down to do it. Your wrists are straight.
Yeah.
And so I put my levers up pretty flat too, not as much as you.
Yeah.
But I do put them up a little bit higher than.
And you also, like, what I've realized also in Enduro, because the stages are long. Like when you ride with your brake levers down, you're really using your thumb a lot to hold on your handlebar. You're really like trying to grab, and by doing that, you're really contracting your forearms quite a bit.
Yeah.
If you ride with your brake levers flat, you can actually rest a bit more on the palm of your hand.
On the heel of the hand.
Yeah. And you don't have to grab your handlebar as hard anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of
interesting.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that's cool. So you're getting like some top fives, a second,
Yeah.
a bunch of top tens, and you're actually beating Fabian Barel, then one of your
Yes.
youthful mentors,
Yeah.
and enjoying some success, and then making some money, and
Yeah.
obviously getting to travel around and everything. Then you made a transition to Commencal at one point.
Yeah.
From Giant. How many years was it with Giant?
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your contract was up, or did you find a better deal, or did you just want something different?
Contract was up, and I think I was kind of looking for, because I did all my career in Enduro with Giant, and I was kind of looking for something different a little bit, something a bit more fun, something that Giant was very strict in some ways, and I think that Commencal at the time was a bit more my more like suiting me a little bit more fun, more kind of goofing around. And not that Giant actually put any restrictions on the shit I was doing. They were actually pretty encouraging me to do, to be me. And but yeah, I needed a little change. So I went to Commencal, and I didn't go in the podium anymore. I was having too much fun.
Well, you'd been to Canada and you wanted to ride here because the riding is so good.
Yeah.
And, you come from a land of solid mountain biking history and whatnot, but there's a lot of trails and a lot of bike parks here.
Yeah,
and everything.
the sea to sky is amazing. Sea to sky is like it's kind of, it's mind blowing. It's an eye opening of like the variety of terrain. Like you go from Pemberton to Vancouver, and you have like 4 different zones, and it's all different.
Totally different.
And the best part of that is that sometimes you are on the trail, and you look to the right in the forest, and you see like a old stunt, and you're like, holy shit! And it's like history. Basically, the history is you guys. And then sometimes you are with someone, and they are actually going to tell you, they're going to be, oh yeah, that's Brett Tippy's blah 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 in 1998, and you're like, and the thing is still here, still holding.
It's rad.
It's crazy.
Rad.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I love seeing some of the lines that we did still being used for modern freeride movies and ads and edits and whatnot.
It's cool.
Although the bikes back then were pretty gnarly.
It was gnarly, and you can even see it with the way you guys were building stuff, because now with the bikes that we have, they are completely different, and the stuff that doesn't really work anymore. You're like, how? Like, how do you jump from like that high and the landing is so close to the takeoff?
Yeah.
You're going to explode yourself. There's no room for error. And
Sniper.
You guys were just like sending it.
We didn't know any better. It was the unknown, right? Back then.
It was so good. Like, yeah.
Wow. So when did you say to yourself, I need to go to BC? And when did you come to BC?
2014. The end of 2014. And I moved here. And never left.
It's many a people's story.
Yeah.
Wow. So Commencal was okay with you transitioning from, a hardcore racer to doing more free riding and having fun on your bike and
But the goal with Commencal at the time, they never had like a, well, actually they did with Remy Absalon. But they needed like a top guy in Enduro. They had all the racing crew that was really kicking ass, and the beginning of Amaury Pierron as well. But they didn't have like a big team in 2017 when I signed with them in Enduro. So we kind of created that with the Ravanel, Cécile and Cédric. So I went in their team, and we made that grow quite a bit. And I was good. Like I was doing like a few top 5 here and there, and then slowly, then I had a kid, and my little Anna, I'm gonna pick her up soon, from bike camp. She's biking. She loves it.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And she just picked up just like that. She didn't want to. We had a little bike for her, and we took off the pedals. And at first, she didn't want to put the pedals. She was like, no pedals. And then one day, boom, she just started to pedal, and now she's just like, let's go for a bike ride, Dada. And we go for bike rides and stuff. Little bike rides, but it's so cool.
How does that affect your mental, attitude for sending it when you have a little one and it's not just you're risking when you're doing gnarly stuff?
I think that for me, I actually since Anna is here, I've been sending it harder than ever. But
Got to bring home the bacon.
But I'm less reckless, I'd say. Like I really listen to my gut, and if I'm kind of hesitant, if I'm 50-50, I decide to not do it.
There's no problem to say no.
Yeah, there's no problem for me to say no. I'm not doing that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's super important.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to know when to say no. It takes a bigger man to say no, I think I've said before on the show, but
yeah. It's like at some point when you like when you go ride, for example, Steve's line, if you are 50-50 and you crash, you're really gonna get really seriously hurt on his stuff.
you're going to go off an 1,800-foot cliff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't want to.
You don't want to do that.
No.
Yeah.
So it's either you feel it, you have it, and then you go for it. And of course, there's always the risk, like shit happens. But yeah, I need to be like completely sure that I can do that, like skills level and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely sure, because it's hard to be 100% confident in something.
Yeah.
But you got to be more than 50-50. It's usually
more than 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like well, sometimes you tell yourself, I got this,
Yes.
and I call it mental override.
Yeah.
And I've had moments where I had to mental override to do it, to get it done, because the camera's there and people have spent the time to get there and you want to do it, but you're not sure if you can do it, but you're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then you kind of build yourself into like a superhero in your mind, like, yeah, of course I can do this. But you're like, can I really? I guess I can. It's a really kind of a strange thing, like, to
It's pretty cool, and that's a little bit something that I'm discovering since basically last year. Like I've never when you're a racer, you don't really have time to send it like that, and you don't want to hurt yourself because you have to race. So all the time I will basically go ride and I will see all these lines and everything, but I would be like, no, I can't do that right now. And I've been a bit, like I've done the train gap before and everything, as even when I was racing AWS, but not as much. And then since last year I started the coaching business. I kind of was looking a little bit more at this kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, I kind of like it. How far can I go? How big can I go? How steep can I go down? And basically with coaching and like showing people how to ride stuff in control, like I think my skills level went up, and I started to like do bigger jumps
from coaching others.
Because
you break it down, right?
Exactly, you break down everything, and you see people, you film them, and then they film me, and I look at my position, and I look at the stuff I do, where to brake, where to release the brakes, and all this kind of stuff. And then suddenly my riding skills went super high, and then now I keep learning all the time.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I remember you doing the coaching, and I saw some of the you're coaching in North Van a little bit as well, and on Dale's Trail and
totally
fall away right with the Jundry outrun and whatnot, and I was just like, that's an interesting line he took into that. I never thought about doing that line. I think I've seen Simmons do that line before, but yeah, I'll just go down the middle. So you've been doing these edits, and you kind of started doing more YouTube, and you've got a series called Into the Gnar. Now, very successful. People love it, and you kind of have a little playful battle going with Remy Metailler. Is that how you say it? Remy Metailler? Raymond. Which is pretty awesome. And I like how you broke down some of the lines. Like there's that one move that's like a little hip to the right, and then you went and did some other moves that were similar to it, and then you didn't feel it, and then you didn't pull the trigger. You're like, I'm not doing this today. And I thought that was that was wise. I thought that was cool. And then you came back and then you did it. But when you felt it.
When I felt it,
When you felt it, and you could see it. You got to be able to see it, right?
It's a weird thing. Have you seen this?
I've never seen it, no.
It's such a weird... Remy is probably one of the most skilled rider on the planet, probably, kind of.
Oh, for sure.
But it's, in his own way, and he's so precise. Like, he's so precise with everything. It's kind of crazy to ride with Remy, actually. And to see the stuff that he does, and how it, like, his vision, and you're like, he says, I'm going to jump from here and land here. And you're like, really? Like, the landing is 50 centimeter long, Remy. How are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to land front wheel first and then do that with my rear wheel and tack, beam. Okay, sure.
And then he does it.
And he does it.
Yeah. Oh, like that.
And he's like, okay, your turn. And you're like, no. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to land like that.
Well, in that move, you went a little bit to the inside, and you didn't have as quite of a
I know, I don't have I can't do that.
Especially to the right, like you were saying.
No, I can do that to the left a little bit.
Yeah.
But then that move to the right, I didn't have it. So I was like, how? Like, I'm not going to just try it on this move. Like, that would be...
If it doesn't work, you're going to...
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's trees, rocks everywhere. It's kind of super sketchy. So we found this hover move that was quite similar, but way easier. And I practiced a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's it. I got the move. And the next day we went, boom, send it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Done, in the bag.
Boom.
And how many times have you done it now?
I think we did it 4 or 5 times that day.
Yeah.
And I've never done it since.
I got that.
I should actually go back and do it again. But it's a very kind of spooky little thing.
Yeah.
It's a weird...
there's a lot going on there.
A lot going on.
Yeah. So recently, you've been riding with one of the gnarliest riders of the North Shore, Steve Vanderhoek.
Yes.
Who has been sending it for a long time.
Yeah.
And was back in NSX movies.
Totally.
NSX 9, I think, back in the day.
So this is the kind of stuff we didn't watch in Europe. I
didn't know about that.
I had no idea what was happening. You know, like all these little videos and stuff, and I had no idea. We had all the big ones like Cranked and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But so kind of when I met Steve, we chatted about that a little bit. What's your past? Like, when did you start biking? Because I was sure that basically he started biking like a couple years ago, and I was like, and when he told me that he was actually like one of the freeride original guy, and I was like, holy shit.
Well, not a lot of people know who he is because those are smaller movies. Mm-hmm. But you know, he's been in some Remy videos, and he's been in some Into the Gnars with you, and he's been doing a lot of shooting and Instagram videos with his girl. Yeah. And he's putting himself on the map recently.
Totally.
And
since last year, like
he's really blown up recently.
Yeah.
Because he's gnarly.
He's gnarly and like
he's smooth and
his attitude is so cool. Like he's a cool dude. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
What I love is that he's a fireman and that's his job. And he's doing this for fun.
Exactly.
Like
that's his passion.
There's no pressure for sponsors or anything like that. Yeah. He wants to do it.
He wants to do it because he loves it.
Doing some gnarly lines.
But we just talked about it. But his line in Norvan is
it's insane.
It's insane.
Like I've looked at it. I've hiked up there and I've looked at it. I didn't bring my bike, but I looked at it and I would ride it if there wasn't that gap. Like I would descend
the gap
that. But the gap changes everything. Because you have to gap it and then you have to turn a corner above 100-foot cliff, 80-foot cliff.
Did you see that?
Well, you went to the left?
I just went to the same line, but I went to the right, more to the inside, and it's like a little rock and a hole. And I was like, I'm going to take it here. I'm just going to case it. Yeah. So that's what I did. I just did a little gap and then case front wheel, rear wheel, and bounced a little bit and then still made the corner. Yeah. But I was like, I don't have the ability to do a bunny up from a
steep line.
It's vertical.
Yeah.
So you're coming down vertical, then you have to do a bunny up and then land on vertical. And then grab your brakes, make the corner, don't fall off the cliff. Yeah. And then you have to survive.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on.
Because I've looked at it and I've hiked it and I was just like, would I do this? Would I not do this? Would I do that? And then I was just like, you know what? Like, to do that, not only do you have to jump it, riding a steep slope, because you're already breaking traction. You go into it and you break traction.
Yeah.
And you're
accelerating.
You're off to the races. Yeah. And then there's like a rock that you have to kind of miss. Yeah. And then the gap. And then hit the corner. Like there's so much going on. I was like,
and the slab is not a perfect slab. There's actually holes into the corner. Yeah, like you're bouncing everywhere.
And it's not that wide, like the actual clean slab.
No, it's like 1 meter maybe. Yeah, and 3 meters to the left, there is that cliff.
Yeah, big cliff.
So when I saw that for the first time this winter, I kind of looked at it and I was like, so you are definitely crazy. And how did you actually envision yourself to go down this thing? Like where did it start? Like how did you? I was like, well, sometimes I walk in the forest, grab a little mushroom.
Well, I think that he was the only one to ride it, and then Remy rode it,
yeah.
and now you've done it.
Now I've done it.
And so not a lot of people have done that line. So that's pretty cool.
But I think the fact that I rode it probably is going to bring confidence to some people to actually go and try to do it.
Yeah.
Because
well, that's not the only gnarly line there. Because there's the dice roll, and then there's the
lower one,
the steppy one.
Yeah.
Which you did in the rain. I saw you. You actually looked freaked out. I haven't seen you freaked out.
I was scared.
But he did it in the rain, and then you're like having to do it next,
Yeah.
and you were like, kind of looked at the camera, and I could feel the adrenaline like through the camera, and you're like, oh.
Well, like that day when we filmed that in the rain, we had no idea if he actually was going to work on it. So he went first, but then I was like, is that actually going to work? Like, can you actually ride that? Is it actually possible? And then he starts, he engages himself, and then his front wheel slides a little bit to the right, and then he catch back up, and then he goes down. And then during the whole time, I was like holding my breath. And then he makes it, and I'm like, okay, well, now it's my turn.
It's obviously doable in the rain.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was
the brake control needed on that is cool because it's like it's not just a slab where you're hanging on and modulating.
There's
you have to be off and on.
Yeah.
And you have to place the bike and work the bike. So and then you have to kind of air to the left and turn to the left. Yeah. Super gnarly. And the camera still doesn't do it justice when you see it in real life.
Yeah. But when you show up in person for the first time and you see this thing, you like it's really humbling. You look at it and you're like, wow. This is the stuff we ride these days. It's crazy. There's some sort of respect. Also, when you see a line like that, you're like, okay,
yeah,
this is we are not joking around here.
Yeah, this is real.
Yeah, this is real.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you take these risks. They don't always work out. It's time for the ride wrap crash of your life. What is the gnarliest crash you've had and all these gnarly things you've been doing?
Well, definitely not when I got my knee injury because.
Well, you hurt. That's probably the worst you've been hurt, but that was kind of just an awkward.
I was climbing.
Put your foot out. I was climbing up a little something.
I was climbing up a skinny because I was with my buddy Audric. Audric Lacour.
I love that guy. He's awesome.
And we were just. It was his birthday ride. 5 minutes into the ride in Squamish, and he's like, "Oh, I know this guy," and he actually climbed this skinny on the e-bike. On an e-bike, and now we were like, oh, let's go check it out. So we go check it out, and we look at it, and he was like, oh, I think he started from the middle of it, and I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna start from the bottom with a normal bike, and I'm kind of doing a trials move and lost the balance, and basically I misjudged where the ground was, and popped my knee, and that was the biggest injury that I had, but the shittiest crash.
Oh, it's not fair, right?
Yeah,
it's not fair.
The biggest one, I think it was in Schladming, World Cup, Schladming in 2003 or 2004. And I was following Fabien Barel in practice, and I lost the control. Schladming is pretty steep. There's some really steep, fast section. And I lose the control, and I bounce, and I basically went above the tape, and I'm going down the forest in the air, and I stopped into a tree. But it was probably a 15-meter long in the air kind of jump, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't know where I was going. And I catch the tree, fell on the ground, and I was okay. I didn't hurt myself or anything, but I had this feeling of being ejected from the bike and then kind of flying. And you're like, ah! That was a nasty one. And the second one, which I don't know the order, but it was the river gap in Squamish.
Oh, yeah.
So do you remember that?
Yeah, I hit that one.
So
that was originally built. There was 2 big river gaps in Squamish.
So the big one.
The
big one that Antoine Bizet front flipped.
Oh, jeez.
The one where they had the kayaks under.
I
think it was a Commencal jump.
I think it was a Commencal.
Commencal with the kayaks.
For a collective movie.
Yes. And then Antoine Bizet, so they changed the takeoff and they made it steeper for Antoine Bizet to front flip it.
Okay.
And so the takeoff was super steep. And same, I was with Audric, pissing rain, and I show up and we're like, oh, let's find the river gap. And full day of riding, we show up over there, and we start to look at it, and so we find it, pissing rain, little helmet, no full face, my giant rain, and I'm like, okay, it was a wooden takeoff, and I'm like, I'm sure he goes, like he goes, and then Ulrich was like, are you sure it's a good idea to do that now? I'm like, well, like the takeoff was super slippery because it was super wet. And I remember like looking at it and I was like, I'm pretty sure that if I go really fast, because I was scared of like having the front wheel sliding, when you gonna do that move to push and pull, I was scared of like pushing and having the front wheel to sliding before taking off, and with the speed basically falling down the river. So I was like, maybe if I go really fast, I won't have to do much on the bike, and with the speed, I'm just gonna make it to the other side.
Okay.
So I went
way too fast,
full pin,
oh, no.
way too fast. Didn't do anything on the bike, and then the bike compressed, and I got completely bucked on the front. And I remember being midair, and I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna land on my face, passing the landing by who knows how much. So I ejected, and I'm like flying. There's a video I'm gonna show you. Roderick with his iPhone, and then you see me in the air flying again.
Oh no!
And I pass the landing, I'm on my knees, bah! And then I completely exploded myself. So I overshot the thing, land on my face, and I just rolled my thumb. That was it.
That's it.
That's it. No injury at all. No full face, no nothing.
Isn't that weird how sometimes the gnarliest ones you get away with,
you
hurt yourself on nothing?
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Yeah, I'm going to show you, if I find it, I will show you. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay. Awesome. Well, before we go, tell us about your new bike. You ride for GG now?
Yeah.
Tell us about that before we go.
GG, I love this brand. The basically what they are doing is awesome. They make the bikes in Colorado, in Denver. So I'm going to visit them in September for the first time because of COVID and everything. And bike is entirely recyclable. That's something that I really try to push. The environment I think is these days. We kind of have to take care of it in some ways, and
I loved how you're cleaning up trash on the side of the road and you're rallying other people to clean up trash and walk down the ditches and little things like that are very cool.
We should actually have another podcast and just talk about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say.
Yeah.
Like brands and everything, and a little bit my move to go towards a little bit smaller brands and more local. And that's a little bit what I did with GG, and that bike is incredible. You can change the seat stay and you go from a cross-country bike to an enduro bike with just the same bike. So the platform is super cool, and the brand is way smaller brand than all the brands that I've been riding for before. And there's that vibe where you basically, when you talk to someone, you talk to the boss and to the engineers directly, and you can really work well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Oh, look a sweet bike.
Yeah,
it's working for you for all the stuff you're doing. Well, I think you have to go pick up your little girl.
I have to go pick up my daughter.
But before you go,
yes,
do you have a joke for us?
I have a joke.
All right, perfect. No pressure. You're nervous about this.
I was nervous. I was like, wow, it's you. How do you make a waterbed bouncier?
How do you make a waterbed bouncier?
You spring water.
Nice. Very nice. It's true.
Hey, Brett, I have just before we finish, I have a friend, a German friend of mine, and he's a sound technician, and a Czech one too.
And a Czech one too.
A Czech one too. That's two jokes.
I love that one. We've had that one on the show before, but I like your delivery. It was good. I got one for you. What's Irish and stays up all night?
What's Irish and stays up? I don't know.
Patio furniture. Awesome. Well,
cool, man.
Dude, it's always fun to see you send it. Always look forward to seeing your clips. And,
we're gonna send it more. So that video with Steve, that's the Tour de Gnar.
Where you did like all the gnarliest moves, or as many as you could. 17 hours.
17 hours. Pemberton to North Vancouver.
Squamish, North Shore.
So we're gonna do a part 2 because we missed a lot.
Oh wow!
So we're gonna do a part 2.
You and Vanderhoek.
And maybe Remy.
Oh, wow.
Because Remy was kind of pissed that I didn't take him. But he has to calculate everything. I was like, Remy, like if you were here for that thing, we would have stopped in Whistler. We would have
One and done, Remy. One and done.
4 jumps.
And he likes to do things over and over to
Exactly.
get them perfect. Yeah.
So he's gonna come probably for the next one.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Maybe we should have even some more. Maybe you should come.
Well, maybe I should join you for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got some old lines to show you. Yeah.
Totally. I bet you do.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
And let's do a part 2 for that as well. There's a lot of stuff that we.
There's so much to cover. There's so much to cover. It's great. One more time for the camera. Full gas.
Full gas. Okay.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
I'm gonna go pick up.
Right on. Take care.